Clarity comes from quiet effort because in silence, distractions fall away and intention sharpens. When you work in quiet, the noise of validation or comparison no longer dictates your pace or your goals. You're left with the purity of the task itself, free from outside pressures that distort your sense of direction. It is in those moments of quiet work, uncelebrated and unrecognized, where clarity begins to unfold. There's a discipline in not seeking constant feedback, and that discipline forces you to reflect deeply on what truly matters. The quiet builds a connection between effort and meaning, between action and self-understanding, leading you toward a purpose unshaken by fleeting opinions. Clarity is found not only in the progress, but also in the mistakes you make along the way. When you're working quietly, mistakes become opportunities for growth rather than performances to be judged. Without the added pressure of a spotlight, you can afford to take more risks, try new approaches, and make corrections without fear. This trial and error process is essential because it is where the most valuable lessons lie. Every failure brings you closer to understanding what works, and every success becomes a small but significant step toward something more complete. Quiet effort also removes the pressure to please others, freeing you from external expectations. Instead of asking what people want to see, you start asking what feels authentic to you. This question becomes a compass guiding you towards something more aligned with who you are. The absence of immediate validation forces you to become your own greatest critic and supporter. With time, you learn to trust that your instincts will lead you in the right direction. Confidence grows quietly, step by step, built not on public praise, but on the satisfaction of doing the work well, even when no one is watching. Working quietly also gives you the gift of focus, something hard to maintain when attention is constantly scattered. You stop running in every direction, chasing what seems urgent but isn't essential. Instead, you go deeper into fewer things, mastering them slowly but thoroughly. Each small step forward reinforces your vision, and each obstacle teaches you something invaluable. The lack of fanfare helps you measure success differently, not by how many notice, but by how well you've refined your craft. Clarity is born when distractions fade, allowing you to connect with your work at a more profound level. In this space, the urgency to prove something diminishes, replaced by the calm resolve to simply build. No longer needing immediate results, you allow yourself to take a longer, more thoughtful approach. Clarity is not a flash of insight that arrives when you rush or overexert yourself. It is something that takes form over time, crafted by consistent effort and patient observation. There is something powerful in letting the process unfold naturally rather than forcing it into shape. You begin to notice patterns, recognize what works, and develop an instinct that can only come from experience, not applause. There is a humility in working quietly that helps refine your vision. In silence, you don't feel the need to pretend you know everything. You ask more questions, seek more answers, and allow the uncertainty to guide you towards something clearer and stronger. Each quiet effort becomes a building block, a part of a foundation that will one day support something far greater. Clarity grows from this foundation, each stone laid with thoughtfulness and care until the structure takes shape on its own. Silence makes you more adaptable. When you're not constantly explaining your actions or defending your choices, you remain free to pivot when necessary. Clarity is a moving target, something you refine as you go along. The quiet work allows you the flexibility to adjust without losing sight of the bigger picture. It's easier to change course when you're not tied to an image of how things should be. Every adjustment is a sign that you're growing, learning, and getting closer to your true direction. Consistency is the key to this process. Clarity doesn't arrive overnight. It's the result of repeated effort over days, weeks, months, even years. The quiet makes it easier to commit to this long haul because there's no rush to show results. You become more patient with yourself, more forgiving of setbacks, and more focused on the bigger picture. Each day becomes an opportunity to build something stronger, clearer, and more aligned with your values. This daily practice becomes a form of meditation, a space where clarity becomes inevitable. Clarity also strengthens your resilience. When you're not distracted by outside noise, you become more grounded in your purpose. Obstacles no longer feel like roadblocks, but challenges to overcome. The more you work quietly, the more adaptable and determined you become. The clarity you gain from this process makes it easier to keep going, no matter how difficult things get. Each challenge becomes a lesson. Each lesson another step toward a clearer, more focused path. Your work gains a deeper meaning when done in silence because you're doing it for its own sake, not for recognition. That meaning is what gives you the strength to continue even when the road feels long. You begin to see that clarity isn't just about understanding your goals, it's about understanding why those goals matter in the first place. That connection to something greater than yourself becomes a source of strength that guides you forward, even when the path is uncertain. Quiet effort creates a kind of inner strength that's hard to replicate. It's a strength that comes from knowing that your progress isn't dependent on anyone else's approval. You're building something that's yours alone, something that reflects your values and aspirations. The clarity that emerges from this process is unshakable because it's rooted in authenticity. It's not something that can be taken away by criticism or failure because it was never built for show. It was built for you by you, through quiet, consistent effort. In the end, clarity isn't a final destination, it's a process, a constant unfolding of understanding and growth. Mastering the power of focus means learning to control where your energy flows and eliminating the unnecessary noise that constantly competes for your attention. Focus is not just about narrowing your vision, but about creating a deeper connection with what truly matters. In a world filled with distractions, the ability to focus becomes an extraordinary skill that sets you apart. When you master focus, you stop chasing everything at once and begin to build a clear path toward a meaningful goal. The scattered mind always feels rushed and overwhelmed, while the focused mind remains calm, directed, and powerful. Focus sharpens your thinking and allows you to go deeper into the work at hand. Surface-level engagement keeps you in a loop of mediocrity where nothing is truly mastered. However, when you direct your full attention to one task, you enter a state of flow, a state where creativity flourishes and insights come naturally. In this space, you stop struggling and start performing at your best. Ideas connect effortlessly, and each step feels like the right one. Focus doesn't just help you accomplish more, it helps you do it with precision and intention. Distractions are everywhere, and each one comes disguised as something urgent. The notifications, the demands, and the endless tasks can fragment your attention until you forget what you were working toward in the first place. True focus requires conscious resistance to these distractions. It's not a passive state of mind, it's a deliberate choice. You need to make a decision every moment about what is worth your attention and what is not. Once you begin to filter out what doesn't serve your purpose, you free up energy for what does. This is where true progress begins. Mastering focus is also about learning to prioritize. Not everything demands the same level of attention, and not every opportunity is worth pursuing. Without clear priorities, focus becomes scattered and progress stalls. When you begin to understand what deserves your full effort, your time becomes more valuable. Focus helps you create a mental hierarchy that allows you to allocate energy to what truly moves the needle forward. It's not about doing more, but about doing the right things with greater intensity and consistency. This prioritization becomes the foundation for long-term success. Discipline and focus are deeply intertwined. The ability to stay focused is rarely an act of motivation, it's a practice of discipline. Motivation is fleeting, but discipline builds consistency, and consistency leads to mastery. Discipline helps you push through moments of boredom, frustration, or fatigue without giving up on the task at hand. Focus sharpens that discipline because it keeps your eyes fixed on the larger purpose. Every small action, when aligned with a clear focus, contributes to something much bigger over time. Mastering focus is not a grand, dramatic act, but a series of small, disciplined choices. Focus also teaches you the value of saying no. Without focus, it's easy to overcommit and spread yourself too thin, leaving little energy for the things that matter most. Mastering focus means recognizing the power of refusal. Saying no is not a weakness, it's a way to protect your time and energy. Every no is a yes to something more meaningful. This boundary setting is essential for maintaining focus because it eliminates unnecessary distractions and allows you to direct your energy where it counts. Learning when and how to say no is one of the most powerful tools for preserving your focus. Focus also builds momentum. Small wins accumulate when your attention is sustained over time, creating a compounding effect that drives exponential growth. The early stages may feel slow, but once momentum builds, progress becomes unstoppable. The key is staying focused even when the results are not immediate. Focus gives you the patience to trust that consistent effort will pay off. Over time, the momentum you create through focused effort makes the process feel almost effortless. The work starts to pull you forward instead of you having to push yourself constantly. Your environment plays a critical role in your ability to focus. Surroundings that are cluttered or chaotic can reflect in your state of mind, making it harder to concentrate. Mastering focus means taking control of your external environment as much as your internal one. This could mean designing a workspace that minimizes distractions or creating a schedule that protects your most productive hours. It's about removing the obstacles that interfere with your focus so that your energy flows seamlessly toward your goals. A supportive environment can be the difference between struggling and thriving. Mastering focus requires self-awareness. You need to recognize what triggers distraction and learn how to manage it. This means being honest with yourself about what pulls your attention away and finding strategies to overcome it. Self-awareness helps you create an environment that supports focus, removing distractions, setting boundaries, and creating routines that keep you aligned with your goals. Focus is not something that happens naturally for most people. It's something you cultivate through practice and intentional effort. The more you build this awareness, the stronger your focus becomes. There's a mental clarity that comes with focus, a sense of knowing where you're going and why. Clarity simplifies decision-making because it reduces the mental clutter that comes from endless options. With focus, you don't waste energy on indecision or second-guessing. Instead, you make choices that align with your core purpose. Focus allows you to trust the process without constantly questioning the path. This clarity becomes a compass that guides your actions, helping you move forward with confidence and intention. Each step is deliberate and each action has a purpose.